Yesterday, I saw a clip of Joe's McFly, known Yankees Twitter legend. If you want some Yankee Stadium content throughout the year, I suggest giving him a follow. He gives the real fan experience. But he was on WFAN with Carton and Roberts, I think, yesterday. And he had mentioned talking about these young guys, the Yankees' reluctance for the last little while to give them run to promote them. And he mentioned, there's a human element to this. If you're Anthony Volpe and you're Oswald Peraza looking at Isaiah Kiner Falefa playing shortstop ahead of you, you're trying to think, what can I do? What's the difference I can make to get to the next level? And seeing IKF
Hmm.
play shortstop at a rudimentary level, not a high on base guy, like bat to ball skills are like good, but they're not great. He's hitting 260, so they're looking at that saying, what can I possibly be doing better other than having a 1.2 OPS in the minor leagues, which is unreasonable to ask of a prospect to make this team. And I think it's something that the Yankees should consider because they either have to trade these guys or promote them, I think, because if you're just going to hoard them in your system,
Yep.
it's not going to do well for their mental health, for their development. If they don't know, obviously you can always improve. But if they don't know what they can do to break camp to break the MLB team when both of them are major league players. Anthony Volpe is the number 5 ranked prospect in all of baseball. The top 4 all played the last month or two with their MLB affiliate teams. So
Hmm.
he's the best player in the world to not be playing in Major League Baseball, you know? So,
And also, Kat said it like if you get stuck in AAA, you're going to probably die there. Like that's where you will be for the rest of your career.
yeah.
The drop off from AA to AAA, like there's not a significant change in talent. The change from high A to AA is where you see the biggest drastic change in facing like major league ready pitchers essentially. And Volpe at this point has played in AA plenty. AAA was new to him; he struggled there a little bit, but you don't want to see him there for a full season at this point. Um, just because at that point you're facing a bunch of guys that are fringe MLB guys that are only going to realistically make it up to the majors if someone gets injured,
Yeah.
you know? So I think there's a lot to keep in mind there. And I think the Yankees are well aware of that at this point. But I really ask from the Yankees fans to like just give it a second and not jump to conclusions that we're not going to see him this year at all and that we're going to see IKF on this roster starting at shortstop because I do believe that he is the most tradable middle infielder out of the bunch at this point. And then maybe Glaber after that, just because they clearly aren't really interested in giving him an extension, even though he wants one, if we're being blunt about it.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see what happens once Glaber is playing with Team Venezuela starting this week. We saw the lineup for today, and we're recording on Saturday morning, March 4th. And Oswaldo Cabrera is playing second base, but Glaber has monopolized a lot of the starts at second over the past few games because they're trying to get Glaber ramped up and comfortable with some of the new rules before going to the WBC to prevent injury. He'll probably be playing a bunch for Team Venezuela. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see once we have that starting infielder gone, how they switch around the reps. Because I think that is the difference. Um, at least one of these guys has to go this year. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's just practically not possible to have all of them on the major league roster. So it's either you're stashing both Peraza and Volpe in the minor leagues, or DJ, Glaber, Donaldson are going down for a significant time period, or
Yeah.
Oswaldo Cabrera, because I think he's your utility guy that I think he's gonna stay on the Yankees roster. Like he proved that he can come off the bench a little bit, has that versatility. So I think they're ready to keep him as like their backup option, not burn his options up and down, which I
Yeah.
mean they always do. So maybe they actually Oswaldo's going back and forth. But yeah, one of these guys are gonna have to go, or two of them. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we're looking at Glaber, who's on his last year of ARB, $10 million this year. IKF 6 million this year. I think both of them are really valuable players. IKF, I think, is a championship level bench piece. And I'll say it again. As your backup shortstop, love him. As a second base, third base option, with some solid glove. Love him, his work ethic, his poise. Like love all of those aspects about him. Just in the modern game, like we've mentioned ad nauseum, he is not the kind of shortstop that you want to have, especially when you have two top prospects that have proven they're at that level defensively. And then they can compare offensively, if not blow IKF out of the water with their ceiling, especially Volpe.
Dude, their floors are better than IKF ceiling if we're
Yeah,
being blunt about it
honestly.
too. I mean, and also I think we have to look at, is it a matter of, do you want to move prospect capital or do you want to move salary? Because the Yankees have not moved any salary this offseason. And I think we're still both under the belief that they will move something. And the easiest way to do that, the most compelling cases would be for an IKF who's $6 million, like you said. That would move them, give them a little bit of wiggle room to stay away from that $293 million penalty tax. And then also Glaber is at $10 million, so that would move significant money. It and I just don't see them moving Donaldson at this point. I think they do really anticipate a bounce back season. If we do see Donaldson moved, it will probably be middle of the season or somewhere within the first 6 to 8 weeks. I think they're going to give him a solid 6 to 8 weeks just to see what he can put together. If his offense looks the same way that it did in the postseason, I think he's as good as gone, DFA'd, whatever it may be. Or if he does raise his trade value, then that's great because that means he'll probably get traded and they can get some value back for them at the end of towards June, July. So I'm not that mad about that deal. We talked on the phone yesterday about there was a trade proposal out there. Someone put out one for Chris Bryant for Josh Donaldson. That made
Nuts
0 sense to me
for
whatsoever, just
for
because
all
it's like,
parties.
yeah, you're giving away 1 year of Donaldson at 25, 26 million, and you have no clue what you're getting with the bat, but defensively, you're probably getting a stud. And then you're giving that away for a dude who, yes, he's won an MVP before as well, but you have 7 more years of him at 26, $27 million, and he could not stay on the field at all to save his life last season. How does that benefit anyone? And then also on top of that, he plays the infield. So like you've got a bunch of infield prospects. We haven't even talked about Trey Sweeney, who's another guy who's going to be coming through the system. I mean, if you have Volpe and Peraza on the roster at the same time, I do project Sweeney's probably the guy that ends up getting traded out of the prospects because you also have Roger Arias and then a few other guys. Chaparro has looked really good this spring training so far, and he can make some reps at third base as well. So like you have guys that are going to fill in throughout the infield, and Chris Bryant just does simply not make any sense
No.
in the long term
What I do like
or
is
short term.
with Gavin Lux going down, I see a potential Dodgers trade for
Yeah.
either IKF or even Glaber. I
Mhm.
think IKF would fit well into what the Dodgers are looking to do. He
Yeah.
is a bit cheaper and he gives that versatility, and I think the Dodgers are all about that versatility because right now you're looking at Gleyber Torres and sorry, not Gleyber Torres. You're looking at Chris Taylor and Mookie Betts potentially taking second base reps. Um,
Yeah.
and Chris Taylor is more than able, like we've seen him do it in the past. He had a really tough year last year. You still have Muncy who can technically play second base, but I don't think you want Max Muncy being a second baseman for you. Freddie has first base locked up. Shortstop, we're looking at Miguel Rojas, who's a nice leader, very good defensively. He's always at the top of the NL Gold Glove ratings, but not exactly a plus bat. So, do they want Miggy Rowe as their shortstop long term? He has second base ability as well, so maybe you take a shortstop out of someone else's system. But I think IKF would be useful for them, or even Glaber. I think Glaber could go to the Dodgers and be really good. Um,
Hmm.
I think Glaber going to the WBC maybe makes trade talks a bit easier for the Yankees to have and not have Glaber around if they're confident they can get a deal done, or maybe to keep things hush hush. But I don't know. I love Glaber, but the reality is that someone's gonna have to go. I don't think, and I kind of back the Yankees for this. I don't think Donaldson has the market to go. I think the Yankees are
Yeah.
gonna have to eat 15 million or 10 to 15 million. And I think the Yankees
Hmm.
are looking at, okay, well, we're paying him anyway. So we might as
Yeah.
well pay him to play for us the first at least 3 months because that's $10 million worth right there.